Hey, what's going on, everyone? Darby here.
Zachariah here.
Zachariah, that's right. We are coming at you guys live today with a quick and sweet video breaking down a rapid book outline method. So one of the most common things that I do here, and I know Zachariah does as well, in running workshops to help people write books using artificial intelligence or not, is that where do I start from here? How do I organize the content? How do I get past this curse of the blinking cursor, the blank screen, the blank page syndrome that most all of us have felt at some time? And so we're going to walk you through a really simple, quick, sweet process to help get that book out of your head and so you can start writing it.
And the main thing here, guys, is we're just trying to take what's in our head, the book that we've been thinking about for years or months, and just get it onto paper. It's more of a brain dump than actually I would say, than an outline. But it's an easy way just to get from what's in your head onto paper. And we love it. We use it all the time. And this is outside of using artificial intelligence.
Yeah, and so obviously we talk a lot about how to use AI, Jasper specifically for writing. And so we're going to show you and demonstrate how you can use the AI for this, but we want to walk you through first and foremost this is a new article we just posted on LinkedIn that breaks down this entire process. If you follow me on LinkedIn or Zachariah, you should see this on both of our feeds. But in a nutshell, this is a brain dump. It's helping you get that rough outline out of your head. And you can do it in around 15 or 20 minutes if you're on the ball with what you need to talk about. So I think we just kind of want to give you the high level overview of what each section of this is. But ultimately, again, guys, this is to challenge yourself to give you some constraint with a time factor to just get the stuff out and then edit it later as you continue to build and expand your book.
So how we start this off is the only thing you'll need is an egg timer, or now everyone has a timer on their phone. So that's it. So what you're doing is when you set that timer for yourself, when you set that constraint, it actually forces your brain to act and move quickly. You do well under pressure. Well, all my procrastinators here, like myself, will know this. We crunch right at the last minute, and that's what this forces you to do, is trick your brain into actually giving you the goods quickly, right? Versus staring at a blank page.
Absolutely. So like we said, all you need is a timer and a blank piece of paper, right? So you can use a classic egg timer. You can use your phone. You can go to the Google Chrome store, the extension store, and you can add this onto your browser if you're using Chrome and get started, right? So we're talking about step one here is just breaking down the title and getting a paragraph about what the book is. And when we're using this main paragraph, this is going to be like the high level, almost think book blurb, but doesn't need to be super salesy here. It's just like, what are you talking about in this book? Who is this book for? Why should someone read this book? Like, just what is the general synopsis of what we're going to be talking about in this book? And so first step here, you set your 2-minute timer and you hit the ground running. 2 minutes brainstorming. What are some title ideas and what is kind of the overall paragraph? And I really want to hit on not getting stuck on the title too, because you can always come back and change that. So,
and you can write this with pen and paper, guys. You can do it in Google Docs. The whole point is literally just to write as fast as you can. Don't worry about if it doesn't sound good. Don't spend a ton of time thinking about the title. Just literally, you want your right hand or hand to be an extension of your brain right now, and done.
Exactly. And then the thing is once you get done with that first 2 minutes, now this is going to be guiding, okay, now that I've talked about what this book is going to be about, all right, let's go ahead and write out what are the topics that you're going to be inside of that book. And the key here is really aiming for about 12 to 16 chapters. That's pretty common practice for business books across the board. Obviously you can go more, obviously you can go less, but this is kind of the sweet spot.
Right. Nonfiction is 8 to 12 chapters. Generally, you don't go above that, but you want to get obviously more if you can, because you may not use all of those topics. So shoot for 16. Not the end of the world if you don't get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And in thinking about what you're writing this book about, if you're writing about your personal experience overcoming an addiction or an obstacle, think about the different steps that you took to overcome that problem. If you're an expert in a topic in your field, what is your process for helping people get results going step by step through that, these could all be talking points. These could all be chapters inside of your book. So once you've brain dumped those chapter topic ideas, now we want to organize them. They might not have come out of your head in the perfect order. And so take these next 2 minutes to rearrange and really organize and filter that so that you've got a clear, this happens, then this happens, then this happens, all the way from the beginning to the conclusion.
So you want to be thinking about what's the end result in this 2 minute, this organization, what's the end result you want your reader to have, and organize your topics, as start to finish of what they'll need to do to get that end result.
Absolutely. So, and that's really, again, like what we're trying to do here is solve a problem with this book. The book should center around, this is the specific pain point, problem, and person that I am serving in here. And so just keep that in mind as you're building out your topics and your outlines. The next step, we're going to go ahead and bump the timer up. We're not doing 2 minutes now. We're going to do 7 minutes in order to understand what is the chapter content that we're going to be talking about. And this is kind of, okay, now you've talked about the high level. This is the idea that I'm going to talk about. What are maybe the 3 to 5 talking points or sub points that go under that would be the rest of your content inside the chapter? And I know, Zachariah, you've got some interesting perspective on this.
Yeah, so the chapter is, inside of each chapter, there's 3 points of the chapter. It's the first part is the intro, how you earned or learned the information, the introduction, kind of the high level overview of that chapter. The second piece is actually the meat of the chapter, what they need to learn. Sometimes this can be broken up into 3 pieces. I would just stick to the meat, right? And the third is your call to action, right? And the next steps that they're going to take inside the chapter. So you want to wrap up what they learned. If you have a worksheet, a course, or something to give them where you're going to get them off of your book and into your world, right? So you want to send them to your website. That's the last piece. Basically, you're saying, hey, if you like this chapter or you want the worksheet to go along with this chapter, go here. And that's the main point of nonfiction books, guys. It's to gain interest from your ideal customer avatar, someone you want to work with, and get them from your book to your world, right? To your courses, to your website, book consulting with you. So that's the last part of each and every chapter that you do is the call to action.
Right. And so whenever it goes into actually writing out the entire book, that's when you're going to fill in all of these stories from your experience and all of like the nuance to the details. But for right now, we've got 7 minutes. All we need to do is have the general ideas of maybe their questions that are commonly asked that they'll run into when it comes to that topic of your chapter. So brainstorm and get those out here. If you're doing that for anywhere from 8 to 12, really 16 is a lot. If we're talking about all the chapter titles, you can trim stuff out here. You can cut it out. Like this book isn't, generally going to be like a 50, 70,000 word. What do you call it, Zachariah? Magnum opus.
Yeah, your magnum opus.
It doesn't necessarily need to be that. What we're really looking to capture here is that brain dump, so that when it's time to start expanding and modifying the content, you've already done what honestly holds most people back from writing in the first place, is getting an outline on paper. So
right. Exactly. And so, for example, for inside of each chapter, right? Maybe chapter 1, if you're doing like a diet or a cookbook, maybe chapter 1 is your meal prepping. And then inside of that chapter, you would say, tell a story about, well, I first learned how to meal prep, or I worked with 2 of my clients to the only thing we switched was their meal prep, and they immediately lost 15 or 20 pounds. That's how you learn to earn the information. The second part is the structure of what that meal prep is, right? The third part would be, hey, if you want my Excel sheet, meal prep plan guide, whatever, ebook or whatever it is, the digital version, go here, right? So yeah, that's how we structure each chapter.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And so again, this article can be found on my LinkedIn page. We'll also share it to the AI author. And this is really the process that we've seen people have a lot of success with in not even using AI, but just to help brainstorm and get that process out. So this is how it looks in just a simple Google Doc, right? So you can take this Google Doc and you can do it yourself. And we could illustrate even, these are the different steps inside of here, right? What's a title? What did you just say, Zachariah? If we're going to go through the first section, cookbook, How do we start brainstorming those sort of titles?
Again, what's the end result, right? 15 pounds in 10 days, right? What is the end result that you want for your ideal customer avatar, right? 10,000 in 2 weeks. Like literally, what is their biggest pain point? That's what you're going to target, right? And then the next is, let's say it's $10,000 and $10,000 in new customers in 1 month, right? Okay. Then the next step, the 12 to 16 topics, are the exact steps they're going to take to get there, right? Maybe whatever that strategy is, maybe it's a TikTok strategy, right? So then you go over each topic of that strategy. Diet cookbooks, right? Meal prep, diet, exercise, what holds them back, things to avoid, all of those things are the topics.
Yeah, and so that second half, once you got your title and general idea, get those topics out. You're then going to organize those topics so that they make sense in the most sequential order, and then let's get the rest of it out, right? With the 4 things you'll talk about inside of each chapter: your story, answering some of the questions or addressing some problems head on, action steps and call to actions, follow-ups for people so that they can actually implement what they just learned inside of it. And polish and go, right? Now we can move on to the next step of starting to really write this content out. But let's say you're still struggling with where to even start here and you're still running into that blank page. Let's go ahead. I think now makes sense to transition to how would we actually use Jasper, the AI writing assistant, to take a topic and help formulate this first rapid book outline.
Always easier with Jasper.
Always. Huh?
It's always easier with Jasper.
Always. So what I've done here, guys, is I've opened up just inside of a new project inside of my Jasper account. We're not going to get into the details in this video of that. But what we're looking at here is a recipe that is designed to help us take action on accomplishing a certain goal. And how I always teach people when they're using this AI tool, Jasper, to start using recipes is to always, always, always start with the content brief. Because this content brief, which is going to fill out this area right here. Let me go ahead so you can see that's weird. Can't see it anymore. Oh no, it's destroyed everything. Content brief right over here. This is going to be the context for the AI to understand what it needs to be saying and outputting on it. And so first and foremost, when we're talking about this rapid outline recipe, we want to cover the what, where, why, who, when, and how about the book. And this is the really high level overview. And this is what we're going to tackle first with like the title and the paragraph. So so we're going to pick a topic at random here and we're going to start with just kind of filling it out and then coming up with a title inside of a 2-minute time frame. So before we do this, Zachariah, give me an idea.
Let's do how to lose 20 pounds in 30 days.
Okay. So
why I'm doing this is a specific goal that you have for a reader, right? 20 pounds in 30 days. That's the end result of what they want. So that's what I'm going to be focused on, that one pain point that they need, or maybe how to lose the last 10 pounds of belly fat or something. I mean, we could go. If we have any viewers, if there's you guys have suggestions, I love to use crowd suggestions too.
Yeah, and if nothing, we'll just roll with this. But we just want to start out with, again, taking a step back and coming into this, right? Context. We're going to talk about losing 10 pounds in 30 days or whatever the topic's going to be. We need to answer these questions now, and this is what the first 2 minutes is for. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you under the gun, Zachariah, and I'm going to turn on my dictation over here. We're talking about we're across the city and we're about to build out this book outline together in an enormously short amount of time.
Have we done this?
I don't know. Too many. So, all right. So I'm over here and let's go ahead and hit the title. We've got 600 characters. So keep an eye on kind of where we're at there.
Got it.
And first I'm going to click the timer. So we've got the first 2 minutes and we're going to come up with this content brief, title, and general paragraph. Ready? All right.
This is a book about how to lose the last 10 stubborn pounds of belly fat in 30 days. most people struggle with their fitness goals. They can lose a ton of weight in the beginning, but they tend to peter off and plateau in their pound ability. Peter off and plateau in their weight loss goals. This is a 30-day guide on how to lose the last 10 pounds.
Let's just pause it right there because that's a pretty solid start. So we've got peter off in their weight loss.
Peter off, just do plateau.
Okay, so tend to plateau. Now we've got 1 minute, right? We just filled out this is the general idea for it. I need some title ideas, right? So I'm going to say,
Darby, get rid of the title at the top left of Jasper.
Yeah.
There we go.
Write a list of titles for this book. And I'm just going to give
book titles.
Yeah, short book titles. So let's go ahead and here, list of short book titles. I'm giving on a PC a Control-Shift-Enter command in boss mode, which is commanding the AI. And so what it's doing right now is it's picking up on patterns of what it thinks I'm trying to tell it to do. And so get trim and firm in 1 month. It's giving me a little bit of options right there. We've got 18 seconds left. Let's see if we can get something there. 10 simple steps to a beach body. Right? Okay, so we're working a little bit now. We've got some options. Burn fat fast, weight loss made easy, the ultimate guide to losing belly fat in 30 days. And 0 seconds.
Time.
So there's our first 2-minute sprint. And all we wanted to do is get the idea out there, the big high level idea, and brainstorm some title ideas so that we can kind of continue on to the next step. So anything out of here that catches your eye specifically, Zachariah?
Let's see. I like this. Lose the last 10 pounds in 30 days.
Okay.
Again, very specific on what their pain point is, right?
Maybe like weight loss made easy, lose the last 10 pounds in 30 days.
Or I like burn fat fast. Burn fat fast. Lose the last 10 pounds in 30 days. So there you go. There's a title and a subtitle.
Cool. So now we've got that pounds in 30 days. So again, we're putting this up here because it's going to give Jasper the AI context for what it needs to be writing. And so now we've got this locked and loaded. I'm going to come on down. I know we've got some hacks for your diet plan, things you need to be doing first half of the day. It's more of an outline of a book. So what I'm doing with these 3 asterisks is just telling the AI not to look above, to not distract it. It's still going to reference the content brief here and above. Now let's go on to the next topic.
Let's start our timer. 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes, 12 to 16 topics we're going to cover. All right. Let me see here. Timer, 2 minutes.
Boom.
Control J.
So easy.
So what it just did is wrote me like a really short, pretty much like ebook outline right here. Introduction, importance of fat, how to burn fat, dieting tips, working out, conclusion.
See if we can get some more, Darby. So see if we can build those topics up.
Let's go and do that. So I'm going to just keep kind of giving it this command J. And so it just wrote me a little bit of an intro paragraph there. And so I'm going to say, now let's mix it up a little bit. Write a book outline for this book about how to burn fat fast. Command, Control, Shift, Enter. And so now it's just going to start giving me these outlines of what we got here. And you notice how it's kind of like 1 to 6 right now. We're not necessarily always going to get a fully fledged perfect outline right out the gate. Obviously, there's a lot of research that can go into understanding how other books on the market are building their outlines too. But again, we're not trying to be perfect here. We're trying to get the rapid idea for the outline out and what step does it make sense for. And this one, I like this where this is at, right? We got the weight loss plateau.
So
why is it hard?
Right, discussing the problem right away. What's the problem? They're stopped losing weight. They want to lose more weight. The weight loss plateau immediately goes into that pain point. It's perfect.
Exactly. And so check this out. So now what we've done, we've just built out our entire topic bit with the weight loss plateau. Check out what Jasper is doing now. It's now referencing back to this. A lot of people who lose weight are the beginning, yada, yada, yada. Now it's starting to expand on this a little bit. Maybe we don't want to go into this much detail yet, but it's something. So a little bit of a trick with AI here. Looks like it caught itself on a loop. And so bad outputs, nothing to worry about. We just got our time hit and we've got exactly what we wanted to. On the ball, a list of resources. We've got 16 sections of our book right now that we can then use to organize and make sure that it makes sense. So just moving right along, I'm gonna go ahead and delete these because not needed right here. Introduction, fat loss. So now we go to the second 2 minutes. And the next 2 minutes is organizing these topics. So what I really want to do here, I'm just going to spend some time and go back through these 16 that it came out. And I'm going to make sure that they're actually in the right order that I want them to be in. So kind of a little bit of a QA, making sure everything makes sense. Let's go ahead and jump into that.
Again, if you guys are experts on the topic, you should know, right, of what the correct order is that your reader needs to go through.
So in terms of like a book, the weight loss plateau, this is the history of a problem. I think that makes sense for starting off. Obviously, you can put an intro before this, but the weight loss plateau, chapter 2, why is it hard to lose?
Right. Why is it hard to lose this 10 pounds? It's not your fault. The last 10 pounds are the most stubborn part of the belly, right? It's the last thing you lose in any diet. So, and then here.
After Zachariah's appearance on My 600-Pound Life.
Damn it. You're not supposed to tell people.
And so, I mean, like it seems like this is in pretty logical order. 4 tips for burning more calories, how to do it. Here's some more tips, ways to increase your metabolism, right? So now you could have some hacks for increasing metabolism, the benefits of high intensity workout routines. You know, maybe there's like things that you do specifically, if this is your field of expertise, that dial some things back. But I mean, overall, like everything doesn't seem to need to be changed too much from this output specifically.
I mean, I think this is great. It's
30-day meal plan. So that's a lot of helpful resource right there. How to stay motivated through your journey, the importance of maintaining a healthy weight, FAQs. Now this is really great. Like the more questions you can answer, the more, assistance you're going to be providing through your book, but it's also going to increase your credibility on being a thought leader on a specific topic. A guide defining gym owners, inspiring before and after photo gallery. See, that's not a bad chapter to have there. I mean, if you're providing these results as a fitness trainer, this can make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I would do those more at the beginning, right? The photo gallery, show the results. People are gonna want to see those, what normal people like them can do.
Yeah, maybe this is something for the intro that we mix in and organize up there. So we got 4 seconds left. And so I think in general, like we're pretty good to start building these out. And then we might need to shift some things around and maybe even trim some of the fat, no pun intended, for when we get that. So now what we're doing here, we just organized the topics and now we're going on to the last 7-minute thing of 4 things we're going to talk about in each chapter. So what I want to do is I want to come back up here.
Let's start our timer for the 7 minutes.
Set the timer, and now we're like, okay, now we're started. Let's go ahead and click the 7 minutes, rocking and rolling. So I'm going to delete this command to not confuse what we're talking about here. Actually, I'm not going to delete that one. I'm going to just put blinders on Jasper. What the weight loss plateau, and so this is kind of where you'd want to plug in those story, right? Have a story where you can talk about, or you can brainstorm with Jasper here. And again, a lot of this is going to be, go ahead, Sarah.
It could be a story about, hey, you're working with a client, they lost 60 pounds really quickly, but those last stubborn pounds, they couldn't lose until we started with this method, right? And here, this is the method here.
So what I just asked it was, what are 4 things we can talk about in this chapter? Right? I'm assuming I'm hitting a wall here because my head's being stubborn. 1, understanding it, how to overcome it, create a calorie deficit to stick to it, burn calories more you consume, drink plenty of water. And like this could be like the high level overview of this, right?
Right.
you know, these are some tips, and then we like maybe specific chapters are going to go into these in a lot more detail, right?
So now let's just start at chapter 2 now.
Yeah, and so you can take that same command and weight loss, how to break it.
You want to put the blinders on above chapter 2, Darby?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that just to keep Jasper focused.
Chapter 2.
That's what I said. What would I be without you? Right. So, what are some more things I can talk about first? And so now we're going not less listicle. First, it's usually harder to lose weight. Second, been struggling for a while. Our bodies have adapted. Making Control J. Keep talking to me, Jasper. Third, you know, finally dealing with emotional issues like stress and anxiety that lead to overeating. Right. And so there's some of your content you can talk about here in this chapter. All right, go and rinse and repeat. Again, this is rapid. We don't want to stop and be perfect here. We want to be able to come back and trim the fat. And if we don't like an output, erase it, run a new one. How to burn fat. The difference in our way is called our body stores and burns calories. How to burn fat faster. How to break the weight through the weight loss plateau. You know, this might not all be perfect, right? And so the same thing we did with generating an outline is we want to generate topics: genetics, activity, diet, metabolism.
There, right? That's awesome.
Perfect. And so like we can take that and run with it. Let's move on to the next one. 4, let's keep those there for now. I don't want to get into the form of editing. That's more for like the polish and go stage if we want to come back and really trim some stuff up. A few small drinks, water, avoid sugary beverages, get enough protein and salt. So we're running down like about 4 minutes now. So I don't want to get into all of the details of all of this right now, right? We just want to get the high level overview, you know, and maybe a sentence or so about it. But let me see here. And all I'm doing is pasting the same command that I wrote out right here. Ways to increase through diet, exercise, sleep, supplements. Perfect.
Wow.
Right? Give me those ideas, and that you can always come back here afterwards and spend some more time rerunning these same exact commands. The benefits of this routine. Why is it important? The benefits of fitness tracking, right? Oh, I want some more, Jasper. Hit me with some more ideas.
The best.
Right? And so we just kind of keep the ball rolling right here. And I mean, obviously you could do this without the help of AI, but it sure does take some of the heavy lifting and the thinking off your plate, so you can come in and really more from like a position of editing, right? And be the editor in chief, and you're directing the narrative versus, you know, trying to do
all of the lifting off, not even the heavy lifting.
Right. And so now it's just, we're basically just keeping it going on this little roll. There's 4 things right here that we're running, but you know, we're on a time crunch. We've got 4 minutes left. Let's go ahead and let's really break this thing down. Like, now this is where boss mode really comes into play. Creating calorie deficit, small changes, stay active and avoid. Let's go. Control J, keep it going. Too long. Great. Dots for the blinders. Control V for pasting. Control Shift Enter for you know, the command to start generating the content right here. And we can always come back and regenerate those, right? And so we're not trying to have polished paragraphs right here. We just want to get the ball rolling so that we can come back and make that second round of edits, right? I guess the term might be like vomit copy is what a lot of people use for just getting like the first thing out, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, how to create a meal plan. That repeated itself there. So right here, now we've got a minute left to see if we can finish all of these. Positive, realistic, towards your goals.
When it comes to staying motivated, tracking your progress.
It gives us all the realistic stuff right here. And so we can come back and just modify those when it's ready to polish and start expanding even some more.
So close.
There's benefits. I'm sweating over here. I feel like
come on
trials. What are some benefits? All right, we're close. How to find a gym, the gym. Super helpful. See 4 things you can talk about in this chapter. So we're talking about before and after photos, motivation, how to stay motivated, listing the resources. help you achieve your goals. And what are we talking about? List of helpful ways to use.
Right.
So
that would just be a list of links or
list of links, referencing back with 45 seconds to spare. So, I mean, the resource section, generally pretty obvious, like what should go in there. Conclusion, just wrap it up, invite people where to go next. We've got about 1,700 words right now generated in the span of, less than 20 minutes, right? 15, 20 minutes. We're just wrapping up the last 20 seconds.
Was 10. I mean, the last 10 minutes is when we did all that.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like we got book titles that we can go back in and brainstorm. We've got the topics outlined, and then we've got the things we're going to talk about inside of each chapter. Weight loss plateau, calorie deficit, burn calories, drink water. Why is it hard? Here's what we're going to talk about inside of the thing, right? How do we burn fat? And now you've got 16 chapter ideas that you can trim up, you can break down, you can start expanding on them, and you can really take the next step in publishing this material because you've got the first step out of the way, which is often the hardest, which is getting past that blank screen. So, that's kind of in a nutshell how we're using AI to approach this rapid outlining method that we've got here on LinkedIn.
And that's also guys, a topic we know. I'm big in fitness just personally, but that's also a topic we really don't know a ton about too. So just think of what you can do as an expert in your industry to get people the exact result that they want. That's what we're trying to show you guys here.
Yep, exactly. And so if you guys like this type of content, if you dig what we're putting down and you want to get access to this recipe and other recipes like that, make sure to just subscribe to our newsletter at theaiauthor.com, 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 and our YouTube channel, which is where we're going to be posting videos like this, other informational instructional trainings around using Jasper and AI to smash through writer's block and get those books out.
We'll also be doing more of these lives weekly now, right?
So yeah, we're going to start scheduling more weekly lives, likely around this time, thinking Thursdays are going to be our days. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, y'all, cheers.